What's up, YouTube? I am back with a new series. Try and do these every week, maybe once every 2 weeks. But the goal of Saturday sessions, if you saw on Instagram, I threw up the Q&A. It's just a Saturday hangout. I'm gonna take some easy technical throws and answer questions. So that's the whole goal of Saturday sessions, just kind of hang out, answer questions, take a few throws, and have a good time. So you guys had a ton of really good questions, went through, and I'm gonna try and answer as many as I can, as best I can. Hopefully these Saturday sessions will become a thing. Might not always be throwing, maybe grill out one day, do stuff like that. So first question is, how do you stay mentally well despite the constant grind? So that's a really, really good question. Staying well despite the constant grind is definitely a challenge. The biggest thing I would say is make sure you're trying to innovate and mix things up. It gets really monotonous to do the same thing over and over again. So trying to add in new drills, new skills, whatever it might be to keep things new and interesting, both mentally and physically. Your body responds well to variation. So if it feels like a grind, mix it up a little bit, have fun with it. If you're struggling, I would say try and do one thing right every practice. Whenever I'm in a slump, I try to do one thing right every single practice instead of just getting down on myself. That's what I'd recommend, but everybody's different. I'll just say enjoy the process. Don't be super goal oriented in terms of where you want to be. Enjoy the process of getting there. Have your goals, focus on those goals, but focus every day on getting to them, not just every day dreaming about where you want to be. Focus on where you're at right now. How is your competition warm up? So your competition warm up should be specific to you. There's a few things that you want to do. The main thing that you want to do with a warm up is get warm. From personal experience, mine has varied as I've gotten older, as my career has advanced. It takes me longer to warm up now than it did when I was 18, 20, 22, 24. The main thing is get warm, but stay flexible. That's the biggest recommendation I can give to athletes, because your warm-up will never go perfectly according to plan. Whether the warm-ups in the meet get cut short, meet might start early, meet might start late, you might not have a warm-up area to jog or sprint beforehand. So figure out a warm-up that works for you, but be flexible, because you're gonna have issues in your warm-up in terms of scheduling, the area you're warming up in, whatever it is. Don't get stuck to a specific warm-up and feel like if that's ruined, your day is ruined. So figure out what works for you, but stay flexible is the main thing, because your warm-up, especially for the meet, will a lot of the times have to adapt to the situation. All right, next question. Do you think short shot putters will ever beat your records? That's a really good question. Honestly, I think they will. If you look at the sport, because it's a 7-foot ring, it's difficult to rule out short guys. That's kind of the nature of the event. The 7-foot ring is the great equalizer. If the ring was 8 feet, like a discus, or 8'2", like a discus ring, I don't think short guys would have as much of a chance. But with a 7-foot ring, shorter athletes can run the ring more and sprint more across. And if you look at guys like Joe Kovacs and Tom Walsh, I mean, Joe is right at 6 feet, maybe a little bit under. And he has thrown some monster throws in warm-ups and practices and fouls and in comps. He's thrown 22.91. So I don't think that my records are safe from short guys, I think that you can throw as far being 5'10", 6 foot than someone who's 6'7" like myself. If I was building the optimum shot putter, I'd probably put him at like right at 6'3", with really long arms, and probably 6'3", 315, super lean, super strong, super flexible, super fast. So shot put is a really special event because all body types can find success in it, but I do not think my records are safe from short guys. So if you're a short guy, there is definitely hope for you. That is one thing that I love about the shot. Sponsorship talk. What was it like being approached by Nike, Cage, etc.? So, great question. I feel like there's a lot of misconception. As an Olympic champion, world record holder, I still have to go out and look for sponsorship deals. So I signed with Nike out of college, but I had an agent and he contacted Nike. Cage came about very organically. I had been using Cage supplements throughout my entire professional career, and actually just had a DM from a throws coach in Idaho who worked for them and was like, hey, check out Cage supplements. And I just said, hey, I've actually been using Cage. If you guys would be interested in partnering, I'm down to move forward with that. That is how the Cage deal happened, but 99% of sponsorship deals among pro athletes come from athletes contacting the company. Very rarely is it the other way around. So if you are a collegiate athlete now with NIL and you want a sponsorship deal, or if you're a post-collegiate and you want a sponsorship deal, be active on contacting companies. Don't wait for them to come to you because it won't happen. So actively pursue the companies that you want a sponsorship deal with. That's the best advice I can give, because if you just sit and wait for them to come, even if you're an Olympic champion, world record holder, you're not going to get a lot of people knocking on your door looking to sponsor you. You have to actively go out and find them. So on a side note, if anyone wants to sponsor myself, the YouTube channel, the email's in the bio. If you guys are interested in possibly sponsoring the channel, let me know. Ooh, feeling good. So next one, 2 questions, but I'm gonna knock them out at the same time. How many throws should we take in the off season, and how to apply a new technical change effectively and fast? They kind of go hand in hand, because in the off season is really when you want to make those big technical changes to your throw. Obviously, constantly refining, always making slight changes throughout the season, but off season is your big opportunity to really ingrain good throws, make big changes. Throw more in the off season because that volume can be a little bit higher. You don't have to worry about how far the throws are going, and that lends itself to making technical changes. I would recommend anywhere from 20 to 30 throws per session, but I would say don't get stuck on the numbers. If you're feeling tired, limit the number of throws. If you feel really good, you might take 5 or 10 extra. So listen to your body. Don't be afraid to take more throws in the off season. I would say don't do more than 30 fulls a session. After that, you're not really progressing. And then as far as making technical changes, make them in the off season for the big ones, but focus on one thing. A lot of kids will ask for advice, and if I do a coaching video, I'll give you guys 3, 4, 5 things to work on, but work on them one at a time. The biggest way to make a quick correction and have it stick is focus on that one thing and do it as best as you can every throw. Don't pick up multiple cues at once. That's the biggest word of advice. If you're trying to make a big technical change, make that change only. A lot of throws in the off season, one technical cue per throw, and really work on that single technical cue. That was not as good. A lot of questions along the lines of, what do you do when you get nervous in a big comp? How to stop being nervous in competitions? So that's a great question. That was a really popular one. But the thing I would say is don't be afraid because you're nervous. For me, I get concerned if I'm not nervous for a meet. So if I'm nervous for a meet, that's a good thing. That means your body's ready. That means you're mentally into it. You're focused. and you're excited. So use that energy in a positive way. Don't be afraid to be nervous. Don't fight that nervous energy. Take it and know that that's gonna make you throw farther. If I have a meet and I'm not nervous, I'm really concerned. That means I'm not ready, I'm not prepared, I'm not physically in the shape I should be, I'm not mentally where I should be. So if you're feeling nervous, that's a good thing. Use that energy positively. And so I know it's possible to be too nervous and it can become detrimental. So focus on your preparation. So if you're nervous, you know that you prepared as best you could. There's no better way to fight nerves than preparation. So pack your bag ahead of time, make sure you have all your stuff. Focus on your training leading into the meet. So if you go in and you're nervous, you know that it's a good kind of nervous because you're ready for this and you're gonna throw a big throw. There we go. Beautiful. Next question, how do you plan your season? How long are the training cycles and what happens during these cycles? So, great question. You're gonna get about 1,000 different answers if you interviewed 1,000 different athletes. The main thing I would say, pick the meet that you wanna throw far at, your championship meet, and work back from there. The frustrating or challenging thing about being a track and field athlete is you have a lot of competitions along the way. And so you wanna throw far at a championship, but you gotta have meets in between. So that means staying flexible on your programming, and you can't just do cut and dried blocks of 3 weeks on, 1 week off, 3 weeks on, 1 week off. It might be 2 weeks on and a meet, and then 2 weeks on and a recovery week. You have to stay flexible, figure out your schedule, work from the championship back to the present in terms of programming. And then in terms of the actual program itself, I usually keep mine about a month per large training block or meso block. And I would recommend going from a GPP, general preparation phase, to a strength phase, to a power phase, to a speed phase. But that varies a ton athlete to athlete. Some people might do a strength phase and then a speed phase and optimize on a power phase. So it'll be different athlete to athlete. Everyone is different physically. Some things work better for some athletes than others. So for me, I usually tend to train strength a little bit more because my strong point is a lot of speed training. In velocity-based training, I really excel, but I adapt very quickly. So I'll spend, instead of a 50-50 split, I'll do 60 to 70% in strength training, which is where I'm tend to be a little bit weaker, and 30% on speed, which I respond really well to, but I adapt quickly. So I will spend less time on speed because I get a little bit more benefit from strength. So complicated answer, but it's a very complicated question. So I hope that makes sense. The biggest thing I can say is figure out what works for you. Every athlete's a little bit different. Let in with the chest a little bit. Were you ever considered skinny or lanky? And that's an absolute yes. Check out these photos from when I was in high school. So yeah, I was super skinny in high school. My freshman year, I was like 6'1", 6'2", and weighed 170 pounds. And by my sophomore, junior year, I was 6'5", almost 6'6", weighing under 200 pounds. So even at the collegiate level, my freshman year of college, I was 6'7". I came in at 220 pounds and I was 245, almost 250 by the end of my freshman year. I was definitely the skinny thrower. I will say taller, skinnier throwers can still throw really, really far. Focus on your technique. Don't worry about your strength levels quite so much. Those will come later as you develop as an athlete. Focus on technique if you're tall and skinny, especially because you have those long levers. So with proper technique, you can utilize that and still throw really, really far. See that ball kind of jumps out when I do that? Mm-hmm. Last question. This question is cursed, by the way. Coming from Big Homie, how long did it take to get your headphones in rabot? So this is still really upsetting to me. Quick story. So we're in rabot for the Diamond League. So before you go out on the field, they do a bag check. It's mostly just make sure you don't have anything you're supposed to. You can keep your electronics as long as they stay in the bag. I have my headphones. I just got a new pair of Beats headphones, and they're the first nice headphones I'd ever bought. 2017 rabot. Go to check in the call room, and they do bag checks, and they open up your bag and look inside. Darrell points at me, and the guy doesn't really speak English that's doing the bag check, and Darrell says bad things and to the guy and points at me. So the guy does the most thorough bag search, takes every single thing out of my bag, puts it on a pile on the floor, finds the headphones, and then he tells me, you can't take these on the field. I was like, they're in their case, they're fine, they can stay. And the director of the event said, it's fine, just put them back in, you guys can go out. And the guy wouldn't let me leave until I gave him the headphones. So I'm just checking them with this random stranger under the assumption that I'll get them at the end of the meet. So I was arguing with him saying, let me keep the headphones. They stay in my bag, inside the case. It'll be fine. All the guys go out and I can see them start to warm up. So at this point, I just have a pile of all of my throwing stuff on the floor. So I put it all in my bag and just leave my headphones and go and throw. I actually threw really, really well. Beat Darrell and threw 2240-ish, 2240 something. Finish the comp, go to the call room after media, after drug testing, go to the checkout and ask, can I check out my headphones? And all they have in the bin is one Nokia cell phone in a Ziploc bag. And then I said, I'm Ryan Crouser, can I check out my stuff? And then the guy says, Ryan Crouser has your headphones. And I said, no, I'm Ryan Crouser. And then he said, is this yours? And tries to give me the Nokia cell phone repeatedly. So I was getting really frustrated at this point. 15 minutes later of arguing, saying, I'm Ryan Crouser, and him saying, no, Ryan Crouser has your headphones. I see Darrell Hill outside through the window doing a little dance with my headphones on. And he had checked out my headphones saying that he was Ryan Crouser, and they didn't acknowledge that I was actually Ryan Crouser. And so Darrell had my headphones and watched me argue with a guy who didn't speak English, and I did not speak Moroccan. So it was a huge mess. Thanks a lot for that, Darrell. A lot of laughs. But looking back, it was really funny. So that's what happened to my headphones in rabot. Oh, no. That was my best throw of the day, though, by far. Hope you guys enjoyed it. New Saturday sessions, hopefully becoming a thing. With meets and everything, it'll be a little bit difficult, so they might not all be filmed on Saturdays. But hope you guys enjoyed it. I had fun today. Real quick, Cage Muscle, 15% off. The money you save goes to help the YouTube channel. CAMEO, you want to send a message to an athlete or say thank you to the coach that's helped you out this season, check out the CAMEO app, Expert X, online coaching done by myself, 10 to 15 minute review of your throw, technical cues, possible solutions to throwing troubles you might be having. But thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate the support. Wishing you guys all far throws and have a fantastic day.